Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news show on the channel. Is it the beginning of the end for the Glazers? Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstien have come out and said some things today pretty much about the Glazers not spending because the club is for sale. Strong suggestions and hints coming in from the media, reliable journalists and those close to United that could suggest that maybe the full sale has already gone through. Maybe United have already planned things because David Ornstien said yesterday, you have to watch the space on this United takeover because it could be coming very soon and it's going to be a seismic moment in the history of United. Romano saying the Glazers don't feel the need to spend while the club is up for sale. Is that because they know that they're not going to be here in the summer, amongst more that's come out from the Rain Group regarding the sale of Manchester United? And right now, it seems that it's the beginning of the end for the Glazer family, and we will be talking about that in today's video. We've got some further news that's come out on top of David Ornstein's comments yesterday. Also, we know that the Glazers didn't take dividends out this January. They've been banned from taking dividends, which could influence them to further sell the club. We've also got some news on Joao Felix, United advancing on talks for Joao Felix. Obviously, if you watched my video this morning, you know that David Ornstien did confirm that Joao Felix is now our primary target, and we seem to be focusing on Joao Felix, but we should also keep an eye out on the Alvaro Morata and Memphis Depay situation. So look, I'm going to go ahead and get right into the news, but please do smash that like button, people. And of course, subscribe down below if you are new. I want to show you something I put on Twitter in a minute as well, because I want to talk about the Glazers. I want to talk about just getting these parasites out of the club. Gakpo will flop at Liverpool. I really hope he does now because I'm absolutely bitter. And Maguire to Napoli for 70 million. We will talk about Maguire leaving Manchester United later in the show. And Alice, I'm still fuming that Gakpo ruined my Christmas. Gakpo ruined everyone's freaking Boxing Day. Liverpool, I hate you. Go F yourself. Stop stealing Gakpo. Honestly, there's not a club I hate more than Liverpool. Their fans absolutely drive me up the walls, and they're doing Gakpo this and Gakpo that. You got Gakpo because you have competent owners. You didn't choose Liverpool over United. And Liverpool fans going, haha, United got no pull anymore. We just signed fucking Casemiro. Shut up. Oh, Liverpool fans are doing my head in. But let's get into the news. I could sit here and talk about how I hate Liverpool, but I won't. Liverpool is for sale and spending. Glazers are just taking the shit. Glazers, 100%, 100%. The Glazers are saying they're not spending because they're selling the club. Liverpool are selling the club and they're spending. It's just any excuse not to spend with those Glazers. Any excuse not to spend. And guess what? The Glazers won't spend as well. We should show them Frimpong. It's only loan deals, remember. Only loan deals from the Glazers as well. We'll get into what David Ornstien said. We'll get into some other comments as well. And I want to get into a big fat rant on the thing as well. But obviously, David Ornstien basically suggested that the Manchester United takeover is very soon. And John Morris came out, and I'm going to assume this in. John Morris came out with a good point here in response to what David Ornstien had said. And John Morris said, if the Rain Group are expecting it to be finalised in the first quarter of 2023, so that's the first 3 months of 2023, January, February, March, then I would guess an offer has been made and accepted. A deal this size usually takes more than 12 weeks to conclude, unless it's already well down the line, explains the lack of investment if an offer's accepted. And, you know, Romano's coming out saying that the Glazers don't think they're going to be here in summer. They don't feel the need to invest. There's lots of rumours and speculation throughout the Manchester United media that something is very much in the works. We know that they've gone out to the Middle East a bit, and the reason they went out to the Middle East was to talk with new ownership rather than actually go and watch the World Cup. We know the Glazers have been active in the Middle East, and there's suggestions that things could already be done. Now, what I will say is any deal that's happening probably have to sign non-disclosure agreements until it's nearly done. Things can't get released, and that's why we have very little information on what the Glazers have been doing. But what we do know is, and what we do get told, is they expect the full sale in the first quarter of 2023. And David Ornstien said to expect it very, very soon, as I spoke about in my video earlier. Saudi Arabia owners to Manchester United, I'm not sure. I would say it's either going to be an American investment company or someone from the Middle East. The Glazers have been spotted in the Middle East quite a lot lately. So it could be the Middle East, but the Glazers do have a good connection to American businesses. And the only thing is, the Glazers, I think they still wouldn't want to fully let go of United. They'd almost want new owners that they've got connections and ties to. So it could go to America. I think it's between American investment companies and the Middle East as well. And the Glazers love United, and only loan deals is a disgrace. And you know what the worst bit is? about the Glazers coming out saying they can only do loan deals. You know what worst bit is? It's all right. Well, Joao Felix available on loan. Oh, we can't afford him. The Glazers are absolute full of shit. They're saying, oh, we didn't get Gakpo because we can only do loan deals. And then Ten Hag's like, all right, get me Joao Felix. He's available on loan. We've been offered him on loan. Oh, we can't afford his loan fee. You can afford Joao Felix's loan fee, but you know you're not going to be at the club come summer, so you don't care, and you want to hold on to any last bit of money you can, because it doesn't matter if we get top four or not to you, because you're not going to be here in the summer transfer window. You don't want to spend money on Joao Felix. You want to keep the money you save on Ronaldo for your dividends, because you weren't allowed to take out dividends. The Glazers weren't allowed to take out dividends this year, and they want that money they've saved on Ronaldo to go to their little dividends. When the money we've saved on Ronaldo is 20 million, and the amount it would cost for Joao Felix's loan fee and wages is 16 million. So actually, Glazers, go absolutely do one and shove something up your ass, because you're absolutely full of crap. You can afford the Joao Felix loan fee. You just can't. You just don't want to. You don't want to. Any excuse not to spend, any excuse to get a Garlo 2.0, any single excuse. And then you're saying, what's the point in spending if we're going to sell the club? Because we've got a manager, Glazers, who is 1 point off top four with a game in hand. So effectively top four is in his hands. And, you know, Liverpool are investing. Arsenal are going to sign some Ukrainian winger. Chelsea are investing. Chelsea brought about 50 billion players already. I mean, Chelsea got Nkuku and Badashil and who knows in. And, you know, Liverpool aren't in the top four, they've invested. Chelsea aren't in the top four, they've invested. They're behind us, they've invested. Arsenal continuing to invest and stay stronger. Tottenham invested last January and got top four. United have top four in their hands, but we're the one not investing. We're the ones not investing because the owners, they don't care. Because they know that this is probably the last ever transfer window. And there's lots of strong suggestions and reports coming out that this could be the last ever transfer window we have with the Glazers. And this is the beginning of the end for Joel Glazer. This is the beginning of the end for Manchester United as well. The problem is, we know that there's Americans interested in buying us, but the Glazers are greedy and it will go to the highest bidder. And there's a strong indication, a lot of people think that it could be the Glazers. I want to talk about Wesley's theory. I'm going to get let me get this up on the screen here. Did I just miss a super chat? Sorry for that. It doesn't come up at the top. The blue ones don't come up. I sold him on FIFA. And at least in the last window, we'll be involved with Glazers out. This could be the last window with the Glazers. I don't want American owners again. I don't want American owners. But Wesley made some good points here. So let me find what Wesley said here. Obviously, he's not a journalist. He's just giving his opinion. This isn't facts. This is just like his thought process, which is similar to mine. And he said, clubs for sale when possibly already been sold. Glazers aren't spending a penny in January. But do you know what? I couldn't care less as long as those effers are gone. And that is all that matters. And he makes a very good point. It seems that the club has already been sold from what people are talking, what people are saying. David Ornstien very much hinting that something big is going to happen soon. And at the end of the day, it's a shambles that Gakpo's gone to Liverpool. It's shambles that they're refusing to do this Joao Felix loan deal. It's all of it is absolute shambles at Manchester United. But at the end of the day, if this is the last transfer window with the Glazers, I'll take it. Because this is the beginning of the end for the Glazers. We've got some news coming out about how, you know, they can't actually afford to stay at United. We've got some news coming out on, you know, stadium investments where they need to sell. We've got some news coming out that they don't have the money to take out dividends. We've got more and more news coming out that basically suggests the Glazers are absolutely effed. But oil money would be better than the Glazers, 100%. And Alice, did you see we're linked with Morata? I did, but I still think that Joao Felix is the predominant one we want as well. Ronaldo buying United, I very much doubt him as well. And only Arab investors. Well, this is why I think it's going to be Arab investors as well. And he said, basically, the reason I'm not worried about Americans who are interested in buying Manchester United is the fact we won't be able to get anywhere near the amount UAE will formally offer. The Glazers are greedy and Manchester United will go to the highest bidder, and that's a fact. We know the Manchester United ownership is between the US and the Middle East. The people who have been in for United are the US and the Middle East. And the Glazers is all about money. The Glazers are going to sell to who gives them the most money. So we've got the US and we've got the Middle East, you know, battling it out to buy Manchester United. Where have the Glazers been spotted spending a lot of their time lately? The Middle East. Who's got more money to buy, or the US to buy? Unless it's like Apple or someone. And Wesley makes a good point here, which I agree with. If I was to predict who the next donors are going to be, from the rumours, from using a bit of common sense, I would say it's probably going to be the Middle East, unless the Glazers have got an offer from America that maybe gives them some power. I think it will probably be the Middle East, unless someone in America is stupid enough to give the Glazers some power in their offer, to not, give the Glazers money but let them have power, which hopefully wouldn't be the case as well. I can see Memphis. We will talk about Memphis Depay and transfers in a minute as well. I've got a few other points to talk about as well. But basically, it did come out, and this is just general facts from Ornstien, that Man United could have new ownership as early as 2023. And if we actually go on to what Ornstien had said, and we get up specifically what Ornstien had said, if you didn't watch my video from earlier, we'll do people you follow, and we'll go into the latest news regarding what Ornstien has said here, if I can find it. Here, David Ornstien said, "You've got to watch this space on the takeover because it could be coming very soon and it will be a seismic moment in the history of Man United." David Ornstien suggesting it's going to be a very big moment as well. I wouldn't rule out Amazon Prime buying United. Yeah, they've got the money. I think if it's going to be an American investment company, it's got to be someone like Amazon or Prime with crazy money, because I don't think many Americans can compete with the oil people as well. And what if Liverpool owners want to buy us? They don't have the money to buy us. The Glazers won't accept anything less than 6 billion. The Liverpool owners don't have 6 billion as well. Anyone's an upgrade on the Glazers. And you know what? Anyone is an upgrade on the Glazers. I don't think there are worse owners than the Glazers in football, in the Premier League, in top football club history. I don't think there's worse owners than the Glazers. They've let this club rot. They refuse to spend. They throw manager after manager under the bus. They absolutely PR spin this, PR spin that. They refuse to give Ander Herrera a new contract, but they'll go and give Phil Jones a new contract. The Glazers 100% are absolute vile, ratty vermin. And it's the beginning of the end of the Glazers. And once the Glazers are gone, we get our club back. Once they're gone, we get our club back. The amount of times we've not spent in January because the Glazers say, "Oh, we don't spend in January, that's our dividends month." January is dividends month, not spend month. Moises Caicedo, no, but that would have meant they got 4.5 less million in dividends. Moises Caicedo, he doesn't come to United, when now he would walk into our side. Julian Alvarez, we'd lost Greenwood, we'd lost Martial, and Cavani faked an injury all season. So we only had Ronaldo, a 37-year-old, to play striker all season. So Ralph Rangnick said, Ralph Rangnick went to the board and he said, "Look what I've done. Look who I found for the RB clubs. Look at all these hidden gems like Haaland I found for the RB clubs. There is a guy called Julian Alvarez that will cost us £15 million for River Plate." He went up to them and said, "All I'm asking for is £15 million this January for the River Plate striker Julian Alvarez, a young wonder kid. It's not a risk. Any new manager want to involve him. I'm Ralph Rangnick. You've brought me here to do this role after I managed to scout players in," which he never got to do because they sacked him for opening his mouth and speaking out against them. Ralph Rangnick literally said to the board, "This is what I need to do. Bring in Julian Alvarez," because he found Haaland, he found Werner, he found Nkunku, he found Upamecano, Konate, Kimmich. He found all these ballers, Ralph Rangnick, and said to the board, get this Julian Alvarez guy 15 million in January. The board said no. And guess what? The board took 34 million out in dividends. They took 34 million pounds out in dividends when they could have maybe taken half that money out in dividends and delivered Julian Alvarez to Ralph Rangnick, who's now winning the World Cup, who's now bossing up for Man City. Ralph Rangnick also suggested Enzo Fernandez, which would have cost 15 million. The board ignored him. We could have got Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez for less money than the Glazers took out in dividends in 2022 if they had listened to Ralph Rangnick. But the Glazers, they didn't get Haaland, they got Igalo for Ollie. They didn't get Moises Caicedo, they got no one for Ollie the following January. And last January, they refused to get Julian Alvarez despite Cavani's injuries, despite Greenwood and Martial going, and despite Ralph Rangnick being a guy you should listen to when it comes to the young gems. And this January, Ten Hag loses Ronaldo. They've known for a month Ronaldo's not coming back. They've known that we needed a striker even when Ronaldo's at the club. They've saved 20 million losing Ronaldo. They know that Gakpo wants to come to United and Ten Hag's wanted Gakpo since summer. And they go and let Cody Gakpo walk into our arch rivals Liverpool. That's what our owners do. They're happy to let this club rot. Last January, they refused to spend. And this January, when the top four is in our hands, when Ten Hag could actually go out there and get top four, and Manchester United in a really good position regarding top four, the Glazers would sit there and go, "You know what? Let's let Liverpool spend. Let's go out there and let's let Liverpool spend some money." Okay, that's what the Glazers thought. And let's let Liverpool buy our target, and actually let's let Liverpool get top four and United get fifth. Because if Liverpool get fourth and United get fifth and Gakpo scores 10 goals, we know that Liverpool have got fourth and we've got fifth because they got Gakpo. We could be sitting here in summer going, if we'd have signed Gakpo and not Liverpool, if the board had just hurried up and put a bid in, we would have been in the top four and Liverpool weren't. because they don't care. They don't care. They just think that, well, yet again, they go, you know what, let's go write the season off in January yet again. Writing the season off in January for I don't know how many time. I want to show you something, and I got up. I want to show you something I tweeted. I don't know if you saw this, but it's mad to think that the Glazers took out 34 million in dividends in 2022, but signing both Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez would have cost us 25 million when Rangnick suggested them. 34 million we took out in dividends. We could have took out 9 million in dividends and signed Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez. 9 million, because bear in mind, no other club takes out any money at all in dividends. So, you don't need to take out a whole 34 million. You could have taken out 9 million and brought these players. If you don't believe me, this was a report from the BBC in the last financial year. 33.6 million was paid in dividends, mainly to the Glazer family. United, the only Premier League club to pay a dividend, which has been a source of anger among fans. We're the only team in the Premier League to pay dividends, and it's not like we take a little bit out. 34 million pounds came out in 2022, and they're complaining that they're broke. They're complaining that we can't get Gakpo, and we couldn't have got Julian Alvarez, and we couldn't have got Enzo Fernandez when Enzo Fernandez would have been 15 million, and Rangnick was suggesting him. They're complaining that they're broke, but maybe if they'd never took that 34 million out in dividends, they could have spent it on Gakpo. They could have spent it on on what Rangnick wanted. But they were selfish and they were greedy, and the end is near for Joel Glazer. Glazer-nomics are coming to an end because Old Trafford is rotting, and they know they've got to put out a couple billion on Old Trafford. They know they've got to spend to rebuild the squad, and they don't have the money to do it. And they're absolutely fucked. And Glazer-nomics is coming to the end, and hopefully this will be the final transfer window under the Glazers, because it's absolutely infuriating to hear them say they can't afford Joao Felix on loan, despite him being less than Ronaldo's wages, so you know the money is there. It's absolutely infuriating as well. Please do smash that like button, guys, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. Hi Alice, just a little off topic. How has Amad Diallo been at Sunderland? Do you see him having a future at United? He's been absolutely fantastic at Sunderland. I've not watched loads of games, but I know Sunderland fans that said he's been brilliant. I've only watched him play about 2 games for Sunderland as well, and I feel like we will get Felix Arsenal will get Felix if we try lower the deal. You got to work. This is the thing. Arsenal are looking at a Ukrainian winger and bringing in Joao Felix on top of that. While United sit there and go, you know what, let's let Arsenal sweep up Joao Felix. Let's not forget spending 210 million when 150 would have gotten the job done. Exactly. People say, oh, we spent a load of money in the summer. We spent a load of money in the summer because we took so long on deals. We were so bad at doing deals. That's why we spent a load of money in the summer. Alice, do you think new owners will bring Rangnick back? Not at all. Gakpo's way overrated. I mean, I'm going to pretend that Gakpo's overrated, but I do really rate him as well. And if we buy Soddle this Jan, it will practically be a mirage to finish above those strengthening. Exactly. We are just above the side strengthening, but they're doing something that we're not doing. Strengthening the squad, investing in their squad, because they, other teams want to achieve success. Other teams want to win things. Other teams want to get trophies. And Manchester United, the biggest club in England, Manchester United, a side that should be full of ambition, a team that should be wanting to win all the trophies they can, the biggest club in England, in the biggest league in the world. I would say biggest club in the world, but Real Madrid are bigger than us. But we're in the biggest league in the world, and we're the biggest club in England. We're Manchester United, and they go, no, we're just going to write the season off in December. And they're saying it's because they're selling. They're saying we don't need to spend because we're selling the club. Liverpool are selling the club and they're spending money. It's just absolute shambles excuse from these shambles owners that need to do something and just F off right away. Ronaldo deserves respect. He said everything the fans have been saying for years, but he did it for his own agenda. But Ronaldo was right in what he said about the Glazers as well. And when Man United new owners, is there a possibility Man United file a lawsuit against the Glazers? No, don't think that will happen. But I tell you what, new owners by March, that means new owners have time to prepare for the new transfer window. And I tell you what, if this is the last transfer window under the Glazers, good bloody riddance. Good riddance. Guys, please do smash that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. If you want the Glazers gone by March, like they're rumoured to be, hit that like button. I've got a couple stories to get into. And the Glazers are salty because of no dividends. Absolutely as well. And off topic, Alice, I've got a crush on you. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that as well. And honestly, absolutely livid with the Glazers. How many seasons have we been written off mid-season? How many seasons have Man United just sat there and the Glazers just sat there and gone, yeah, let's go write the season off mid-season? The amount of seasons I can't play this. I want to play this video, but I'm going to get copyrighted, so I just have to put this tweet above it. Like every year, it's like we have an opportunity to spend in January. There's a good, affordable deal to do in January. United are struggling for top four. They need investment in January. And every single year, we make up some absolute BS excuse to why we can't spend in January. We're saying that we're broke. We're saying that we don't have the money. We're saying that we can't do this, we can't do that. Every single year, United come out with another BS excuse to why they can't spend in January. And it absolutely pisses me off. It's because with the Glazers, it is money. January isn't about spending. January is about taking out. January is about dividends. And I want to show you something, actually. I want to show you something that I meant to show earlier in the live stream, because this is a big thing on the sale of Manchester United as well. And I thought it was very interesting how David Ornstien was saying how broke United are in that video. David Ornstien, pretty much, and he's a very reliable journalist with very good links to Manchester United. But David Ornstien pretty much came out and said, people, that United basically have no money. Like, David Ornstien literally came out and said, United have no money to spend. They can only do loan deals, la-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-la. But one of the interesting things David Ornstien said, and you've got to remember that David Ornstien is a top-tier journalist, is he said that a seismic moment, the sale of Manchester United could be happening very, very soon. When you've got tier one journalist David Ornstien saying that something big could happen very, very soon, there's obviously something that he knows that we don't that makes him think that. Like, what does David Ornstien know that we don't as United fans to make him truly believe a seismic moment can happen soon? We know the Rain Group said they expect the full sale to be done in the first quarter of 2023, which is a strong indication that there's a buyer for United and the club has been sold. But, you know, the Athletic probably know things we don't know. And by the way the Athletic speak, by the way Romano speak, they seem very confident of a full sale happening soon. Simon Soames says he'd expect a full sale again to happen by March, April 2023 at the latest. You know, they probably know things that we don't, but they can't say it because they don't know if it's going to happen or not. They don't want to ruin their credibility. But all these top tier one journalists, they're not talking about investors coming in, because there's a possibility that the Glazers don't sell when they get investors. All these top tier journalists are talking about the full sale, talking about the Glazers planning for the full sale. They're talking about United not doing this because they're expecting a full sale. The expectation is the Glazers expect the full sale, and the Rain Group is expecting the full sale in the first quarter of 2023. So for the Rain Group to come out and say it's going to happen in the first quarter of 2023, there has to be someone right now involved in talks with Manchester United interested in buying the club. And the Glazers have been spotted out in the Middle East a lot, with people in Dubai, have good connections to Dubai. You know, there's strong indications that this could finally be the last transfer window under the Glazers, and they could finally be going. And the only way for Man United to be back as what we used to be is by stopping the Glazer occupation, free United under the Glazer routine. Once Glazer economics finally dies, United will be back. Anthony says Romano hasn't been too spot on with transfer news these days. Just hours after he declared that Man United were leading the Gakpo race, Liverpool signed him. True. But Romano doesn't tweet anything that's a lie. Romano just tweets what he's told. So even though Romano isn't always spot on, he was tweeting that United were in for Gakpo because we were in for Gakpo as well. Ornstein did say this, that Arsenal can buy Felix and Mudryk, so United have got to keep out because, you know, we've got Depay and we've got Felix on the radar, but by the way the Glazers are talking, I don't think United are going to be doing anything. I mean, look, we know one thing, and that was that the Glazers' trip to Dubai and the Qatar was more of a business trip than to watch the football. Do you think the Glazers would spend all that money to watch the World Cup final? Do you think the Glazers would go out all the way to the Middle East and to watch the World Cup final? No, they don't care about football. They don't even know the offside rule. They don't know the slightest in football. The Glazers are going out into the Middle East, and the Glazers have been in the Middle East a lot, because I do believe that they are having talks with the Middle East. There's American companies involved, there's Middle Eastern companies involved, but the Glazers will sell to who gives them the most money. The Glazers will accept 6 to 7 billion, but they're hoping for 9 billion. We know Dubai can afford 10 billion for United. We know Dubai can pay another level, another price to sign Manchester United. We know Dubai has that money. It's whether Dubai want to spend all that money on United. I know the Middle East love football. I know the Middle East are passionate about football, and I know the Middle East seem to be the best owners. But will Dubai give Man United double what the club is worth? Will they realise maybe they're being mugged off, that, you know, Man United aren't worth that much? Or will they actually, you know, give the Glazers the money what they want? Is a good question as well. For Liverpool to get the most money from a sale, they have to be in the UCL next year. Therefore, buying players is a must. Man United will sell for 2 times as much as Liverpool. The thing about Man United is they know they're worth twice the amount of Liverpool. Do you know what makes me laugh, people? Is Liverpool fans will come out and go, we got Gakpo, we're bigger than United, I told you so. Another player comes to Liverpool, not United. Liverpool signing Gakpo doesn't mean you're bigger than United. Liverpool will never be bigger than United. We're worth twice the amount of money as you. We've won way more than you. we've got a way bigger fan base than you. And actually, Gakpo would have come to United if Man United had paid the money. There's a reason why all the new owners are looking at United. The only ones looking at Liverpool is because they can't afford United. Because Liverpool, as much as their fans will think that their recent success means they're above United, you might be a bit better than us at the moment. We're above you in the league, so maybe not right at the moment, but you're not bigger than us. And just because you sign Gakpo doesn't mean you're bigger than us. It just means your owners are more competent. That's all it means. And it winds me up that Liverpool fans think that they're the same level as United. You're not. Your club's worth half as much as ours. Honestly. Guys, please do smash the like button and, of course, subscribe down below if you're new as well. Romano is the man. No one saw Liverpool coming in for Gakpo. Exactly. Liverpool did that very quiet. Romano was just saying what he knew. And we need new owners that know stuff about football as well. And Romano can't know everything about every transfer. He's still class. He was basically the only one who was spotting about Frankie during the summer. I trust Romano. And the reason I trust Romano is because there's things that he can't know. And when he says something, it's happening. He says we're in talks for Gakpo because we are in talks for Gakpo. He can't know that the board are incompetent and aren't going to spend the money on Gakpo and Liverpool are going to swoop in. He wasn't meant to know that. But the thing about Romano is everything he says, he knows, is a fact. We know that the board, Man United PR spin, listen to this. Guess what the Glazers were trying to do? The Glazers were telling some of the English sources in and around the club that we were never in for Gakpo. We never wanted to sign Gakpo. Well, we know from Romano and Ornstien that Ten Hag was desperate for Gakpo. United have been trying to sign Cody Gakpo for a while. Lardy this, lardy that, lardy this, lardy that. What I like about Romano is he's just said, no, the board are absolutely full of shit. They've always wanted a Gakpo. They were in for Gakpo. They're having talks with Gakpo the day he signed for Liverpool. And now Gakpo's gone to Liverpool and the board have absolutely embarrassed themselves. The board have come out with all this crap that they were never in for Gakpo. And it's like, we know you're in for Gakpo. We know you wanted Gakpo. You're just making excuses now. You're just PR spinning around the place. It's just embarrassing as well. And just wait until the hater Glazers are out of Darling United. Romano not too accurate. I think Romano's will be accurate with his transfer updates. I like Romano. The thing about Romano is he doesn't clickbait us. Romano says what's fact. We have journalists that come out and say United are breaking. United are going to pay Enzo Fernandez release clause. And Romano will go, well, United like Enzo Fernandez. It wouldn't happen until the summer. We get all this news from good journalists. And these are good journalists. You say we're going to pay Enzo Fernandez's release clause and we're favourites to sign him. And Romano goes, why is a player of interest? It won't happen to the summer. Romano is very honest as well. Very, very honest. Should question how clubs are owned this country. The Glazers are scum, but the truth is that ownership was allowed and all we can do is watch the dismay of public abuse of the club. You know what? The Glazer ownership should have never been allowed. And I believe if it was Chelsea, if it was a London club, the government would have never let it happen. They shouldn't have been allowed to buy the club the way they did, and it was an absolute outrage, and this should be forced out. I tell you what, if I were government, I don't know if I could because I don't know how government works. I tell you what, if I was government of this country, I'd just kick the Glazers out. I'd do what they did to Roman Abramovich, do it to the Glazers, I'd be like, fuck off. I'd ban, I'd kick the Glazers out, and I'd probably tell Sheikh Mansour he has to go and give all his money to United. I wouldn't actually, but you know what I mean as well. And 620 people watching and only 120 likes, guys, so please do smash that like button. Big up Joe there as well, and imagine the news in a year's time. Exciting days ahead. Just have to wait and wait. You know what, it's a waiting game with the Glazers. We could be sitting here this time next year with new owners, and we could be signing, I don't know, whoever's the next big star next January. Like, the mad thing is, like, there's a strong possibility this is our last transfer window under the Glazers. There's a strong possibility this time next year United could be doing a Chelsea and just dropping 100 million on Ten Hag here and 100 million on Ten Hag there, and we can be sitting here in January not watching our targets go to Liverpool or Arsenal, and we could be sitting in a good position. Like that's the brilliant thing about it, is we could have new owners in and we could be doing a madness in January. As dreadful as this is, the embarrassment of Cody Gakpo going to Liverpool, the fact that Joao Felix could go to Arsenal and that United might not do anything despite saving 20 million in losing Ronaldo and despite Ten Hag desperate for a striker. I mean, how many interviews has Ten Hag done? 3, 4, 5, where he's basically said that he wanted a striker. Despite the embarrassment of it all and Ten Hag's clear need for a striker, this could be the last window that we ever even have to talk about the Glazers. Like, come summer, we might never even have to talk about the Glazers again on this channel. I might never need to do rant videos on the Glazers or rant videos at the State of United. Like, that would be so nice, because all we do is rant this and rant that and rant this and rant that. 203 likes, people, so keep smashing the like button. And Glazers style leverage buyouts are no longer allowed. Shame that wasn't the case before. I know United, it's just they should have never been allowed in the first place, and it's a shame that it was banned. before as well. United, Chelsea, and Liverpool have all triggered Enzo Fernandez' release clause. Apparently, it was all false news. It came out from good sources, but I always said about the Enzo Fernandez news, if Man United could not afford to pay Cody Gakpo, there was nothing that was going to make me believe that we could spend 3 times that money on Enzo Fernandez, despite attack being more of a priority than midfield. It would have literally made no sense as well. I do want to get into some more news stories, so let me go and share my screen back on it as well. It's not an embarrassment having Gakpo go to Liverpool. It's a massive embarrassment because he agreed to join United, and United just sat there and did nothing for weeks on end, and then Liverpool swooped in, and the board didn't expect Liverpool to swoop in again like that. That's the thing as well. Alice, does a club's success or failure depend on just its owners? Not just its owners, but its owners play a big part in, because they at the end of the day maintain the club. I mean, Chelsea have had unsuccessful years, but they have good owners, so owners have a strong influence on who we buy and sell. But I do want to get into a few other stories. I do want to get into a few news. I want to talk about some of the news that came out today regarding Joao Felix and more. So please do smash the like button as well. We will talk about the Glazers. We will talk about stories, but there's quite a few things coming out. I'm trying to get this news article out if I can find it, but I can't. I'll have to copy and paste it from my notes. But basically, Fabrizio Romano came out and said some interesting things today about the Glazer ownership. And I know I'm half an hour into the video, but I haven't actually got into the news I wanted to address. So first of all, we got from Fabrizio Romano that the Glazers do not want to spend crazy money while the club is up for sale. And Romano saying this says to me, basically, the Glazers don't want to spend because they don't think they'll be here in summer, so top 4 doesn't matter to them. That's how I interpret that as well. Hope the new owners buy Mbappe. That would be very nice. We'd have to get top 4 for that. And to get top 4, we're going to have to spend this January, which we don't want to do. Other clubs have overtaken us, we know, including Newcastle. Exactly. And I bet you the board were waiting for someone to swoop in and steal Gakpo. Yeah, an excuse, didn't have to buy him as well. And Liverpool know they can do that because United is slow. Any other club could swoop in and take players. That's the thing. If it was Chelsea, Liverpool wouldn't do that because Liverpool couldn't. Chelsea would have got it done. Chelsea signed Nkunku ages ago. But Liverpool know United are slow. So Liverpool know when United are working on the deal, they can just swoop in and get it done as well. Pele has died, guys. So rest in peace, Pele. People were telling me he died all last week. So I just had to check that was actually true. Pele has passed away. One of the best footballers of all time. So very sad news coming in there as well. And on Sky, Pele passed away. Yeah, rest in peace to Pele. Thanks for the super chat. If the sale was close, don't you think new owners would spend some money in January? Well, they can't because they don't own the club. They can't, unfortunately, as well. I mean, Mbappe would be nice, but believe it or not, I have a feeling United probably aren't going to get Mbappe as well. Believe Liverpool. No, I've gone on a weird tangent. I'd like Mbappe, but don't think we're ever going to get Mbappe, despite his good relationship with Marcus Rashford. You never know. But I do want to say this. I want to get into a story by The Athletic. I want to get into some more news surrounding new ownership, Manchester United, Glazers, whatever we want to call those scumbags. But it was said that some close to Manchester United felt the Glazers would sanction spending if they're not going to be around to pick up the tab. And we think the reason, and it's believed from The Athletic, the reason that the Glazers are being so reluctant to spend, again, from The Athletic, is because they probably know that they're not going to be here in the summer. So they just do not give a fuck. The Glazers do not give the slightest fuck. So they're like, you know what? Let's let Gakpo go to Liverpool, even though it's going to cause an outrage, because we ain't going to be here. We're going to cash in our 6 billion, and it ain't going to be our problem. I think the Glazers are sitting there going, Gakpo to Liverpool, not our problem. Doesn't affect me because I'm not going to be here in the summer, and they know that they're probably getting 6 billion for the club. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they're now saying they can't afford Joao Felix on loan, because they want to keep that Ronaldo money for their dividends, because they're going, well, we're not going to be here in the summer, so it doesn't matter if the fans tell on us. It doesn't matter if the fans get angry. I think the Glazers are just sitting there going, not our problem, ha, ha, ha. Probably laughing at Manchester United, probably absolutely sitting back and laughing like the scumbags they are as well. Rather spend smart than go for Galacticos, us or other clubs. Galacticos very work out. And you make a good point. Big signings like Mbappe would be brilliant, but the most successful signings have always been those 30, 40, 50 million pound signings where they're 22, 23 and then moving from a Portuguese league or the French league to the Premier League. You're absolutely spot on with that as well. I love Gakpo, but I choose Vlahovic, Joao Felix over Gakpo because they both improve or directly impact us. Vlahovic would be really nice. Yeah, rest in peace to Pele as well. Sad to hear that he's passed away as well. And I meant to, don't you think new owners would say to the January Glazers spend some money. I don't think they will, and I don't think they can really tell the Glazers to spend money because the Glazers won't spend money. We've been asking them to spend money for years. The Glazers know they're not going to be here. They know it's not their problem. I just think the Glazers just sit there and don't care. But we know that United very much acting as if the club's already been sold. The way we're acting as if the club's already been sold this January, the lack of care that's gone into this transfer window, it's like we just don't care. It was also said investment banking firm the Rain Group are aiming for the full sale of Manchester United in the first quarter of 2023 with a price of 6 to 7 billion. Now, David Ornstien again spoke about this last night. And I do think if there's kind of some confidence in the full sale from good sources from the Rain Group, I do think something's going to happen very, very soon. And I do have a little bit of positivity in that sense as well. Shall we talk about Joao Felix, though? I do want to cover some Joao Felix news. I do want to get into some other stories. We have got a bit of an update on Joao Felix to Manchester United as well. Ten Hag, so David Ornstien spoke about Joao Felix to Manchester United, spoke about the potential transfers, people. And he did say that on United's forward search, the only name he's hearing at the moment is Joao Felix, but it comes down to a loan basis. I think it's very obvious that Manchester United are in for Joao Felix. I think they're interested in Joao Felix, but I just think they can't be bothered to spend the money for Joao Felix. So I think Joao Felix to United very much depends on if Arsenal want to swoop in and steal it from us because we're being too slow. I think Ten Hag's probably pushing for Joao Felix now. Gakpo's gone. I believe that Joao Felix is a strong target of Manchester United. And the fact that David Ornstien said that Joao Felix is the only name we're looking at makes me sit here and think, well, this is the number one target. Joao Felix is the number one target. He's the primary target. He's the only name that United are looking at. Says to me that this is the player that we might possibly get. But I just feel like the fact that United are dithering and they're not sure if they can spend the money on him or not. I don't even think United want to sign Joao Felix. I think we will get someone in January. I think we have to get someone in January, but I don't think the Glazers want to get anyone in January. And I think they're just generally sitting there and thinking, what can we do that's really cheap that maybe shuts up the fans and shuts up Ten Hag? I generally think that's the Glazers' thought process as well. Hope we go for Felix. Yeah, I hope we go for Felix as well. And Diego said the United board know their number is up with new owners incoming. Exactly. The United board are probably just acting like they've already been sacked because they know as soon as new owners come in, they're getting the sacked as well. Can't wait for the Oilchester derby. Well, we might not get oil owners. We might be sitting here in a year's time with the Glazers because someone's stupid enough to give them an investment and leave them in charge as well. I think it's between the Middle East and America right now, battling it out for United. And watch us pay a $5 million loan fee for Memphis Depay on deadline day when we could have gone for free in August. Exactly. Watch United do something they could have done in the summer. Watch United do something in a panic. And despite us having games like Man City and Arsenal to play in January, watch Manchester United very much go, you know what, la-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-la, and buy someone at the end of January. I tell you what, if we lose games in January because Martial gets injured and we don't have a striker, and we very much dominated a game, but we lost it because there's no striker in January, I will sit there and go, Gakpo could have done that. I'll sit there and go, we've got someone at the beginning of January because we've known Ronaldo was leaving since November. That's the thing. And the embarrassing thing about United is, it's not like they haven't had time to prepare for this January transfer window. I don't know what United are doing fucking about in the January transfer window, being slow in the January transfer window, because Man United have known for over a month that Ronaldo is leaving. Man United have known for months that Ronaldo is leaving. They've known that. And they've had a month to go look out there and find a replacement, and they're just dithering and being slow. I just wish that we could effectively get something done and bish, bash, bosh, start of January, United go and do this. But United have this thing where they're just they're just ridiculously slow in the transfer window. And I just sit here and think, could United for once stop effing about and actually just go and get something quick? And I know they're selling the club now and they don't care. But even when they weren't selling the club, it's almost like they had absolutely no interest in actually going out and doing anything. You know, in the summer, they took so long on Antony, so long on De Jong. I just wish United could be like Liverpool and sign a player within an hour. In the space of an hour, we had Liverpool and Cody Gakpo advanced talks, and then 2 hours later, the deal was done, and PSV were tweeting the deal was done. Why can't United go and do a Liverpool and get a deal done in 24 hours? Because when we lost 4-0 to Brentford, we got Casemiro done in 48 hours. We can do it. We can do deals quick. But United's process when they do transfers is they like to be linked to that player for at least 4 weeks so they can get as many clicks as they can, as much attention as they can on social media. So instead of bish, bash, bosh going and doing that deal right away, there will be a report about Manchester United every single day looking at this player. We've got a report about Frankie de Jong every day for 12 weeks and they realise they fucked it up. We've got a report about Gakpo every day for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Whenever United are for a player, they need at least a month for transfers to keep them relevant in the press, to keep them relevant in the media, and they dither. Liverpool aren't interested in saying to the internet they're doing this, they're doing that. Liverpool are like, we're going to be effective, we're going to get this deal done, because United are going to probably... I think if Liverpool hadn't got Gakpo, United would still be sitting here dithering. I think United's plan was to dither on Gakpo till mid-end of January and then make an offer and hope PSV can't say no. But Liverpool, they got brains. They thought, no, we ain't going to be stupid Man United sitting there waiting for this and that. We need a player. We need a player beginning of January, because we've got a lot of games in January. We're going to go out and do this because they have brains, and it, winds me up as well. We were so confident signing De Jong. I mean, the fact that they were spotted in Barcelona, our board literally told all the media they were signing De Jong. Our board truly believed they were going to sign Frankie De Jong as well. The way they were actually sitting there and talking about De Jong was just, they actually were spotted in Barcelona thinking we're getting De Jong. I've said here, Chelsea and Liverpool spend to try and get top 4. Man United have top 4 in their hands but don't want to spend. We will never be a successful club until the Glazers go, and I stand by my statement here. Absolutely stand by my statement here as well, because we just don't want to spend. We'll make any excuse not to spend. We just don't want to spend, and we just don't care as well. Murdoch wasn't allowed to buy United because these parasites were allowed to do an asset strip of our club. These parasites should never have been allowed to buy the club in the first place. And you know what? This is the last transfer window with these parasites, fingers crossed. And I just cannot wait till they go. I cannot wait till they go. They need to go. They are making up excuses. They're absolutely tearing this apart from its soul. Adios is what I say. Adios as well. We need to do deals behind closed doors. Then other clubs can't steal who we're looking at. 100%. But we just care about milking the clicks in the media and all that as well. And we have headlines like Gakpo personal terms agreed, Gakpo deal close, and Gakpo waiting for United. Exactly. We get all these headlines. We get all these stories from journalists. But where is Gakpo? He's at bloody Liverpool as well. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, yeah. We need to stop letting other teams know who we want. Thank you, Tumbleweed, for the super chat. Appreciate that. You're spot on. If I get a blue super chat, it doesn't come up at the top of my screen. So I do apologise if I occasionally miss the blue super chats. The green ones pop up at the top of the screen, but the little blue ones don't for some reason as well. And Mbappe not going to want to play in an outdated facilities. I don't think Mbappe's going to come to United. I was just saying that's a bit of a joke. I'm not saying that United are going to get Mbappe as well. And they know what they want, because we don't have a director of football. Bring back Ralph Rangnick. I don't know if I'd bring Ralph Rangnick as director of football, but I would get a director of football in. Romano did say this. Romano said when Man United get new owners, he believes that Mercer and Arnold will go as well. Romano said one of the first things he sees the new owners of Manchester United doing is replacing the board, getting a brand new board in. I don't think smelly old Joel and ratty old hair Avram will be at United much longer, and I hope they're not at United much longer. But I also think once they go, Mercer, Arnold, they can fuck off too. I think United, if they've got new owners, if the new owners have got any sense, if the new owners of Manchester United have got any ambition, they bring in a proper director of football. Because I say this now, the Glazers, if they had a proper director of football, we'd probably have a better squad than we do right now and probably spent less money. The Glazers are stupid businessmen. They're not just businessmen that don't care. They're stupid. They don't look after themselves. They don't think. You can look at the state of Avram's hair. You know he doesn't look after himself. But you know he doesn't think. Because you think, actually, if you'd have sacked Murter and Arnold and you got a proper sporting director in, we probably would have got all the players we got this summer for 70 million less. As someone said in the chat earlier, we spent 220 million in the summer. But if we got someone efficient who knew the transfer market, who knew how to do deals, who got them done quick, we'd have probably got all those players for 170 million. We probably would have saved 50, 60, 70 million. We probably would have saved that much money alone this summer if we actually had efficient people in there. And that would have been 70 million more in the bank for the Glazers. But the Glazeronomics, it makes no sense. They do anything to absolutely rinse this club and make sure this club is still in a big-ass state. And they don't want to spend money, yet they employ the most incompetent people to do transfers that we end up spending more and more and more money. It's like, I sit there and I go, sometimes the Glazers don't even make sense. The new owners will change the entire Cosmo. Hopefully the new owners aren't Glazers 2.0 as well. And Manchester United should go after Joao Felix and Joao Gomez. Sorry, what? Misread that from Flamengo. not familiar with them, but there's so many little gems in South America, like Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez. There's so many hidden gems in South America that I hope United do go out there and buy as well. Arsenal could have bought Martinez, but United stole him. That's because Martinez rung up Ten Hag and said he wanted United as well. And why sign the players when we can get all the clicks and interactions by linked to them? That's what United do. All United do, and this is the problem, is United lie to journalists. United ruin journalist credibility as well. And there's a lot of credible journalists that will say United are doing this, that, and that, and it never happens. And those journalists' credibilities go down. But those journalists get briefed by United. United briefs journalists to put out what they want the fans to hear. So these journalists, every day in summer, we got United doing this, United doing that, De Jong this, De Jong that. We got Darwin Núñez stories, we got Jurriën Timber stories, and none of those three players ended up at United. Because United actually, they lie to the media, they lie to the journalists, and we say the journalists clickbait us, and I don't know if some journalists do clickbait us, but at the end of the day, those journalists just get told by what to say by United. And United want to have some good, credible journalists. They told Jason Burke, we're about to put in a £40 million bid to get the Gakpo deal done. Jason Burke, who's a very good journalist, good reputation, works for the Telegraph, says United are going to go and spend £40 million to get this Gakpo deal done. Bid's about to be made, complete next week. Guess what? Next week he's at Liverpool. We've got so many good journalists saying so many good things about Gakpo to United, even about Felix to United. But the problem is as well, like these journalists, they're good journalists with links to United, but they get briefed by the club and they say what the club want them to say. And that's why we're lucky we have someone like Fabrizio Romano. Whether Fabrizio Romano plays it safe or not, we know that Fabrizio Romano isn't here to be the club's briefer. Fabrizio Romano only tweets what he knows. And whether it's not a major update or not, Romano plays it safe. But we have so many journalists in the space, and it's not, you can't even get mad at the journalists. They're lied to by United. United, all they care about is clicks. So they'll tell the journalists we're doing this and that. As soon as we lost out on Cody Gakpo, apparently we were going to trigger Enzo Fernandez's release clause. Top tier Argentinian journalist says United is set to trigger, Enzo Fernandez's release clause, which we knew was a PR spin because we couldn't afford Gakpo. There's no way we could afford Enzo Fernandez's 100 million release clause. But they're telling them to put out these stories just as a PR spin, as a pure distraction. The Glazers are absolutely toxic for this club. Absolutely toxic, absolutely ruining the club. But also they lie to the journalists. So a lot of the things in the media we hear about United, we don't know who to trust or not, because there's really good journalists who will say some really good things. And I don't know to trust them or not. Laurie Whitwell, I trust. Simon Stone, I trust. David Ornstien, I trust. And Romano, I trust. Sometimes they'll get things wrong. But good journalists like Alex Crook, Jason Burke, they are good journalists. Samuel Lutkos, good journalists because they're briefed by United. They speak to United. They have genuine links to United. They don't lie. They're good journalists. But because they have links to United, United will feed them information that United want to get out. If United want to make a story that Ronaldo's done this, that Ronaldo eats alone in Carrington, here comes Samuel Lutkos. Ronaldo eats alone in Carrington. He's causing problems. Ronaldo says that's not true. The Glazers, they want the fans to turn on Ronaldo, so they tweet a story like that. They'll say, oh, because now we've missed out on Gakpo, we're getting Enzo Fernandez, because the Glazers are absolute serial liars. That's what they are. They're serial liars as well. And we need to stop letting other teams know what we want as tumbleweed again, which is absolutely spot on as well. The Glazers are absolute rats and they just lie. And obviously, rest in peace, Pele, everyone in the chat as well. We've got 650 people watching, guys. So if your Glazers out, smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Very sad about Pele. My thoughts with his close friends and family at a difficult time. We've lost a true legend of the game. Absolutely. It's very sad what we hear about Pele as well. Exactly. And Arsenal going to cause Arsenal need him a lot. I tell you what, if Felix goes to Arsenal, I'll be fuming because he's not even the number one target. And Arsenal top of the league. We are fifth. We have lost Ronaldo, and we're not. It's not like he's injured. We've lost him. He's gone. We saved 20 million. We've lost a striker to the rest of the season. We've known we've lost that striker since November, and United are now reluctant to spend money in January. Whereas Arsenal got a striker out, but he's injured, the top of the league, and they want to spend. Liverpool got a striker out, but they're injured. They've not left, but they want to spend. Liverpool get an injury for 2 months and spend. United lose a striker and have known that for months he's not coming back, and United don't want to spend. That's the difference between clubs that win trophies and clubs that don't. Liverpool owners want to sell the club, but they're still prepared to sign players and improve the club and make it more attractive to new owners. Glazers just want nothing to do with Man United and want to let it rot. Absolutely spawn. The Glazers don't care about Manchester United. The Glazers will just sit there and let Manchester United rot to its core. They don't want to spend any money, but what they do want is they want to rinse as much money as they can for United In the Glazers' eyes, in the Glazers' mind, it's, I don't want to spend any money on United. I have no plans to spend any money on Manchester United. That's how the Glazers think. They do not care about this club in the slightest, but what they do care about is money. They think, well, should we invest in January to make the club more appealing? No, it's Man United. No, there's probably someone already told the Glazers they're going to buy the club. I think one of the reasons the Glazers won't spend in January is probably because they know who the new owners are going to be, and they already know that there's someone here to buy the club. So it doesn't matter about spending money or making it more appealing. They just don't care. They just don't care, these owners. They're absolute shambles as well. We might need someone like Felix or Morata. We need a striker in January. We cannot cope with Martial being our only striker. Because I like Martial. I think he's good, but he's very inconsistent. He's very injury prone, and it would not be fair in the slightest to Ten Hag to expect him to make do with Anthony Martial for the rest of the season. Not in the slightest. As well, and Glazers want to use Man United as a bank and take money out of convenience. And one of the reasons I think the Glazers are selling is because they were denied to take money out because they took so much money out. They took 34 million out in January, and we spent so much in the summer. The Glazers were denied to take money out. And then when Ronaldo left and they realised they saved 20 million in wages, instead of investing that 20 million they save in wages, they're probably going to find a way to take that out before they leave. I think the reason we're not spending in Liverpool is because Liverpool are trying to be attractive for new buyers, and I think Glazers have already found buyers. I think this deal is quite advanced. There's reports of a full sale happening by March. I think the reason we're not spending is because the Glazers are confident they've got new buyers. They're not trying to make the club more attractive. They know they're not going to be here in summer. They know their payday is coming. They don't care about the club. They've given up. They'll happily miss out on Joao Felix and cause an outrage. I think that's the reason the Glazers aren't spending as well. I think they don't care. Back in the day, we used to sign players in secret. United don't get that football is competitive, so they stopped telling other clubs who they're buying. Exactly. Everyone knows that we wanted Gakpo. Everyone knows that we wanted De Jong. Because United will go on. United have to tell the world that they're trying to sign this player for at least a month before they sign them. We have to be linked with a player for at least a month before they sign them. That's what United do. It's not we're just going to sign someone and maybe a few rumours come out here and there. No, we're going to have to tell the whole world we're working on signing this player for a solid month, and then we're going to go out and make an effort to sign them. That is how United work. They want to make the biggest fuss ever. We're going to sign this player. We're going to sign that player. But first of all, let us make a big, big, fat fuss about the situation. That is exactly what United do. And it drives me up the walls as well. 302 likes, people. Let's go. Thanks everyone that smashed that like button. And Liverpool owners actually care about the club as well. Absolutely. They put a good structure in place years ago. Glazers couldn't care less. Yeah, Liverpool complained about their owners, but they care. And they're selling the club because they don't have the funds to take Liverpool where they want it to go. Our owners don't care. Alex is spot on as well. To be fair, the Casemiro deal was done fast, and that's because the protests. They needed someone to unveil that Liverpool match because they knew there was going to be a protest and a walkout protest. They got Casemiro. I'll tell you this about the Glazers. If I tell you what, they only got Casemiro deal done fast because they wanted to unveil him at the stadium to stop the protest and get less attention on the protest. They only got the Casemiro deal done fast because we lost 4-0 to Brentford and they needed a massive PR spin. They only got the Casemiro deal done fast because Jim Ratcliffe came out the day before we signed Casemiro and said he wants to buy the club. They got the Casemiro deal done fast to save their own arse. And that is a prime example, Casemiro, of Man United can do deals fast. They just don't choose to. Casemiro is a prime example of that. When we want to, we can get deals done fast. We just didn't want to in the past. We just couldn't be bothered in the past. And Casemiro is a prime example of actually we can get deals done fast. We just don't. As well, normally keeping the club in strong and good condition will mean that it's more attractive to new owners. The Glazers seem to work differently. Yeah, I think the Glazers know that it's Man United's biggest club in the world. Doesn't matter that they'll probably get new owners anyway as well. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. Today's video was a bit of rant on the Glazers and obviously the speculation that the time is up. They're going to sell in the next few months and that the end of Joel Glazer is near and the beginning of Man United is back. And to conclude this video, once the Glazers are out, this club comes back, hopefully, unless the new owners are worse than the Glazers, which seems impossible, but it is possible. You know, this video is the end. It's the beginning of the end for the Glazers. The sale is in the process, first quarter of 2023, hopefully. It's the beginning of the end of the Glazers and the beginning of the new Manchester United. And this is the last transfer window, hopefully, we have under Glazer ownership. We'll have to see what happens, but there's big months coming ahead. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because if we do get any more updates on ins and outs, January news, Joao Felix, or even new owner news, I'll be live. I'll do a video to update you guys. Thank you, everybody who watched today's video. Smash a like, subscribe down below if you're new. I will be back tomorrow. See you next time, and bye.